Welcome back everyone to another video with Argo. I'm D-Rec and today we're going to talk about the return of Artemis. If you guys remember her from back at the end of Limit Break era / the beginning of Break Ride era, you'll know that she was originally a ride chain for Genesis. And it was really cool. Wasn't as cool as Minerva, of course, because we all know that was the more favorited archetype for the clan. But Artemis is making a return now in V-Series, and her new skills are pretty bonkers. So we've got the Grade 3 version, as well as the Grade 2 and the Grade 1 from the original ride chain, making a return in V-Series. Before I go into those skills, though, I do want to make a reminder to all of you guys watching that ARG Fall State Championships are right around the corner. This weekend for the 27th and 28th will be for premium format, and then next week and the 3rd and the 4th will be for standard format. So you can check out the link down below to their website where you can see all the events being hosted, which states are hosting this time around, and you can also check out the links down below to our Facebook page because we are the representatives for Connecticut this season, and we are hosting both premium and standard format. So definitely check it out if that's something for you. The event descriptions will be down below attached to our Facebook page. Moving back into the video now and more about these skills, starting with the Grade 3 version of Artemis, we've got Continuous on Vanguard Circle. All of your units with the Godly Equip gauge cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects. They get power plus 5,000 and they get the trigger effects that were given to this unit. Two things right off the bat. Her first part states that they get Equip Gauge, which is essentially the same thing that Tachikaze got. The only difference between the one that Tachikaze has and the one that Genesis has is that the one for Genesis comes from the soul versus Tachikaze from the top of the deck. So it's essentially working like a second hand, kind of like Pale Moon, and it makes it a little bit easier to kind of filter for things you need, especially if they get another version of Blytops in Genesis, because that will allow you to get certain cards back into your hand instead of kind of just getting random cards into your hand, which is really, really solid. And then the second part is it's essentially sounding a lot like Ultima. And if you guys know what Ultima does, it gives all of your units the same trigger effects. This wording is a little bit different because you have to first apply it to your Vanguard. So certain trigger effects might not resolve. So of course crits will resolve, any kind of power boost will resolve from all triggers. The big thing though, and this is for premium specifically, is stand triggers. I'm not sure how the wording works for it, but from how I was reading it and kind of understanding it, if you take a stand trigger and you apply it to your Vanguard, of course, the stand trigger will not apply to your Vanguard, but because you chose it for the trigger effect, it would also apply to the rear guards that have the equip gauge and then stand back up. So not too sure if that's how it works. That would be really cool if it does, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below if you think that's how the ruling works, or if you have some other understanding of it, or if you have a judge ruling, that would also be really, really helpful too, just because I want to spark some discussion going on. And then the second part of Artemis' new ability is Auto on Rear Guard Circle. When placed, you may put a card from your soul face down as a Godly Equip gauge for this unit. So right off the bat, we're seeing some interactions with the equip gauge. Really solid, really awesome backup Grade 3. We still have yet to see what Himiko does, which is really big because it is the boss card for Genesis. So hopefully we see something about that in the near future. We still have a ton of cards out of that set that need to be revealed before we move on. Next up, we have the Grade 2 version of Artemis called Twilight Hunter Artemis, and her ability is Auto on Rear Guard Circle. When its attack hits, you may put a card from your soul face down as a Godly Equip gauge for this card. So again, another card that interacts with the equip gauge. And then her second ability is Continuous on a Rear Guard Circle. She gets power plus 10,000 for each equip gauge attached to this unit. So again, really solid, really beefy. The on-hit pressure part is kind of cool, but it's also kind of bad in the sense that it might not go off very consistently. Although hopefully we see some more things that allow you to move around equip gauge, or maybe choose certain units to give equip gauge to instead of just shoving it to the same unit. And then lastly, for reveals so far, we've got a new version of Bowstring of Heaven and Earth Artemis, and her skill this time around is Auto on Rear Guard Circle. When it attacks or boosts, you may put a card from your soul face down as a Godly Equip gauge for this unit. And the second skill is Act on Rear Guard Circle. You can pay the cost of Counterblast 1 and discard an equip gauge from this unit to choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the same column as this unit and retire it. So now we're seeing some retire options for Genesis. Back in the day, the biggest retire option for Genesis was probably Iwanaga Hime, the Grade 3 that said Soul Blast 6, retire all of your opponent's rear guards in the front row, and then Soul Blast 3 to give her plus 5k. So not that great, but back at the time that was pretty darn good until we got Minerva, which was really solid. That is it so far for reveals for Genesis. I'll keep you guys posted as we get more reveals, of course, for Grey Nature and Gear Chronicle as well. And stay tuned, because in the near future I will also be uploading another match video, this time for Premium. The last one I did was for Standard, and then after that I'll do another Standard video as well. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.